What's up, everybody? Welcome to Mevo Multicam Live. My name is Will Kirkpatrick, and I'm a technical specialist here at Mevo. And I love doing this show. We do it every Wednesday. If you're new to the show, welcome. This is all about our new Multicam app. If you haven't already checked it out, please do so. It runs on iOS and Android tablets and phones. It's completely free, and it allows you to use up to 3 Mevos. It can be the Mevo First Gen, the Mevo Plus, or the Mevo Start. You can mix and match if you want. I get to go over all these cool features with you every week. If you have any questions, put them in chat and I'll get to them in a little bit. Let me tell you a little bit about today's setup. So we are using 3 Mevo Starts. We've got this blue mic that is a blue bird microphone, and it's going into a little audio mixer. And then from the mixer, it's going into the back of the Mevo Start via 3.5 millimeter TRS cable. Let me give you a quick tour of our cameras. So we've got, of course, the center camera. All of our cameras today are on Wi-Fi. We've got our USB audio camera, so I can show you this great USB Yeti mic that we're going to be using. We've got an overhead Mevo as well, so I can show you what's going on in all the apps. And this show is going to be all about audio today. In the Multicam app, we are able to do both the Mevo internal microphones. You can do setup beforehand using 3.5 millimeter TRS inputs. You can do USB-C audio, regular USB on the Mevo Plus, and then you can do Mevo mic as well. But that all needs to be set up beforehand in the Mevo 2.0 app, but we're going to go over that in a little bit. If you have any questions about any of the process to get those mics working, let me know and I'll answer those. But a great thing about the 3.5 millimeter input that I'm going to show you today, in addition to doing microphones, you can also attach different devices like a computer, a tablet, or a phone, and that can do audio like sound effects, that can do background music. You can get really creative with it, so I'm going to show you how to do that as well in the Multicam app. So if you are brand new to the Multicam app, I've seen some fantastic uses for it in the Multicam Facebook group, and it's really cool to see how everybody uses it for sports, using it for podcasting. House of Worship is hugely popular. We see a lot of baseball and softball. You can get really creative with the use of 3 cameras, adding graphics, using transitions. And so let's get into the app a little bit and kind of show you how everything works. Okay, so today we are using, let me get rid of this iPad. Today we're using a Android tablet. We've been using a iOS tablet recently, so I wanted to switch that up. If I can get this centered for you here. All right. So I'm using a Samsung Galaxy S7 tab, I believe. And so we've got our cameras set up. Of course, you know that we're streaming live. You can stream live to all of your regular destinations that you've used in the Mevo 2.0 app. And then, of course, recording. This is something that I harp on every episode, but it's really cool. You can not only record the output directly to the device, which means it's really easy and really simple to just share that instantly on social networks or in chat or directly to your friends and family. But you can also do ISO recording, and ISO recording is so cool because it allows you to record everything that the Mevo is seeing directly onto that SD card. So that means that each one of these cameras is going to be recording the entire time everything that they're seeing. So even if I'm switching between cameras, it will still record on that camera, which is really great for something like sports. I mentioned podcasting before as a great example. Basically things where you don't necessarily know where the action is going to be, who's going to be talking, what the great shot is going to be. But yeah, you can get this ISO recording done, and so no matter what, you will not miss that moment. So it could be some crazy play on one end of the field and you just didn't switch to that camera fast enough. That's all going to be recorded using ISO recording. So it's really an awesome feature. Of course, graphics. We introduced graphics very recently. You can do full screen overlays, like if I wanted to talk about our referral program. If you are constantly telling your friends and family about the Mevo to get them a Mevo and get them involved, the referral program is really, really cool. It gives them that 5% discount purchasing on Mevo.com, and then it earns you 5% commission as well. So not only are you giving people a great reason to get a Mevo, but you're also having a great reason to get them a Mevo as well, because you're going to earn that extra money. So that's Mevo.com/referral. Definitely check that out. So for graphics, those are full screen overlays, but you can also do the regular graphics that you've seen in the Mevo 2.0 app. And as a sort of gentle reminder, these graphics are able to be done without a Vimeo subscription. So it does have that advantage. You can do full screen overlay, lower third, over the shoulder, corner bug. And I've seen some great use for graphics, whether it is doing scoreboard shots for different sporting events, or I've seen, of course, House of Worship showing the lyrics to music that's being played, album artwork, lots of video game sort of overlays for the gamers. So a lot of cool creative stuff is happening there. So our episode today is more about the audio. And so obviously in the Mevo 2.0, or in the Multicam app, you have the option to use or mix your different audio sources from each individual Mevo. And so you can quickly. So as you can see, I've got my 3 Mevos and they're labeled. So this is my center shot that is using the blue microphone, the Bluebird. And then of course I've got my other Mevo, which I labeled USB because I want to make sure that I remember that this is USB audio that's being used for the USB one. And then for 3.5, that's my sound effects. That's going into my tablet. So that's a really cool thing to sort of mix it up. And so it's great. You can obviously have one active at a time, but you can also have all 3 of them active just like that, just by tapping it. So since we're talking about audio, let me go and give you a kind of a quick rundown of what we've got going on audio-wise. So for the 3.5 millimeter TRS input on my overhead camera here, I have my iPad set up, and my iPad is doing sound effects. So if I wanted to add kind of applause, maybe. You know, maybe you're doing a podcast and you want to have applause in the background, or you know, something interesting happens and you could have applause or some other sound effect. And then of course I've shown this before. If maybe you're doing a baseball game and you want to have just this extra great ambiance in your stream, and you want to have this background music. So let's get that playing. So you can get really, really creative, and that's really the name of the game with the Multicam app. Is you can do so much more with the Multicam app that really makes your stream more dynamic and more engaging, and that's what streaming is all about, right? You want to bring people in and you want to keep them watching, and with Multicam, with graphics, with audio, and then of course with other features like Auto Director, which I'll pull up real quick. So we've got, go to Camera Assistant, turn on Auto Director. So AutoDirector will switch the cameras automatically. So it's very similar to the Mevo 2.0 live edit. And so it'll switch between the cameras automatically. I can set the time between each camera switch. So I'm going to set that really low just so I can demo that for you. So I'm going to set that to 3 seconds. And then you can set a preferred camera. You can set actually 2 preferred cameras. So if I wanted this overlay and this center shot as preferred cameras, this means that the app will switch to these cameras more often than the other ones. So have that on. So as you can see, it just switched there, and it'll take a couple seconds. There you go, and it switches again to the other cameras. So this is really great if you're a single person and you don't have someone to control your setup, or maybe you just want to have it really dynamic and just be on its own. Maybe you have just 3 cameras pointed at the same subject and you just want it to keep switching, and that just makes everything so much more engaging for everybody to watch, and it really makes the stream more captivating, all that stuff. So let me jump back in real quick. We've got also transition types. So transition is another way to really customize your stream and make it really personal. So if I want to do crossfade transition, this might be good if I'm doing maybe a concert. I think that would be really cool to use crossfade for that. I guess you could use it for like podcasting. I think that would maybe be good. Speeches obviously would be great. So it really depends on your content and how you want to display it, but we have these options so that you can do these customizations and really make your stream your own. So let me switch to cut. And then, so while we're looking at settings, I want to just talk about a couple key things. Obviously, you can customize your crop settings. This is very similar to the Mevo 2.0 app. You can customize how that crop and zoom works. But you can also do camera input quality. This is important for how your camera is sending the image to the Multicam app. So depending on your network bandwidth, then you might want to have that lowered or raised depending on what you're working with. And the same with video source latency. This is all about how fast the image reaches the Multicam app from the Mevo. So if you have a lot going on your network like we do, we've got tons and tons of computers and Mevos, then a high latency is what we're working with. You could do low latency maybe if you want to have your stream be more about engaging with the chatters directly. And you don't want that delay. All right, so let me jump into questions really quickly, and then I'm going to go over all the audio sources that we've got going on. So Norman says, does anyone have a solution to add lens filters to the Mevo? So you can add sort of filters or LUTs to your image, and I can show you that real quick. In terms of adding extra lenses on top, like physical lenses on top of the Mevo, that is just not possible. But you can adjust your image. So if I wanted to go to image adjustments, I could do black and white if I wanted. And so you can do a little bit of a filter there. Let's go back to custom. So, all right. Thanks for that question. Dave says, when are the backordered 3 camera packages going to ship? Beautifully clear audio and video. Thank you so much. This Bluebird microphone is amazing, and we also have fantastic lighting. So it really helps out the Mevo's quality when you have great lighting. So thank you so much for that. The backordered cameras are going to ship very soon. We don't have an exact date for that right yet, but very soon, and we're really excited about those. They've been selling extremely well, and it's getting so many more people involved in Mevo and the Multicam app. So as soon as possible, we will get those to you. Thanks for that. Jeff says, is there a way to have a countdown screen after it ends, go automatically play an intro? video 5 to 10 seconds long and then go live. So we don't have the ability to do countdown or pre-recorded videos just yet in the Multicam app. It's definitely something that we're looking into. Probably more likely we'll be adding countdowns sooner than pre-recorded videos, but it's definitely a great feature request, and we will let the team know. So maybe we can do that in the near future. So thanks for those questions, everybody. If you have any other questions regarding Multicam, if you have a Multicam setup and you're having sort of issues setting it up, or you have some good ideas you want to share with the group, please throw them in chat. Also, if you're using Multicam for anything sort of unique or cool like that, let me know. I'm always really curious. I've talked a lot about how impressed I was when somebody talked about their baking setup, and so I kind of always get excited when I hear about different cool uses. All right, so let's talk about our audio a little bit. So for one of the Mevos, I wanted to do USB audio. And so this is actually really cool. This is another blue microphone. This is another Yeti. And this is really nice because it is going directly into the back of the Mevo Start. Let me untangle this a bit. So as you can see, we have a USB-A. Oh, I can do the overhead. There you go. We've got a USB-A to USB-C adapter. Let's get this out of the way. There we go. And that allows us to have the Mevo be the power source for the Yeti, which is a great feature. And it really actually sounds really good. So if I turn on the USB, so now I'm using the Yeti microphone. It's a little bit high, so let me lower that for you real quick. But it's really easy to set this up, and you can do it in the Mevo 2.0 app, just like you would normally with USB audio. And then it will transfer over into the Multicam app. So if I disconnect this really quickly, just like that, we've got the USB audio back. I apologize there. I didn't even switch back to my blue microphone before I disconnected. But that is how easy it is to set up. Yeah, our team is letting me know that I muted myself. So yes, that's how easy it is to set up the USB audio for the Multicam app. Just set it up quickly in the Mevo 2.0 app, and it'll transfer right over to the Multicam app. So that's how you do that. And then 3.5 is even easier. So right here, this app that I'm using to store the sound effects is VLC. It's a free app, completely available. And what I did is I went on YouTube and I downloaded different sound effects and music from YouTube, and there's a lot of royalty-free stuff that you can grab from YouTube and then put it onto the VLC app, and then I can just hit it like that, and I've got my applause going. So now I select it in the Multicam app, and there we go. I've got applause now for all my hard work. And then I love adding the music as well. I think that, you know, if you're doing a baseball game and you add some official baseball music, then I think that really engages the audience, as well as just making it that much more entertaining. All right, we've got tons of devices going on right now, so I apologize for that audio blip there. Let's see, let's jump into some questions. John says, suggestion for a view-only app that allows real-time viewing and monitoring of the phone or tablet without accidental actions, good for staff working behind the scenes. Yeah, absolutely, I like that idea. So it would be definitely really cool to do that right now. You could, if you really wanted to, you could do an AirPlay or a Google Cast from your Multicam device, and then people can watch your stream as well as like the other cameras and how you're switching. You can do all of that by watching the Google Cast or Apple, what's it called, AirPlay. So yeah, Scott says, we play at fields with net or for backstop. What's the best stand or clip you have for this kind of setup? I use the fence clip for chain link fence, but looking for an alternative for net. So I believe that this that it's called, what is it, net clip or something like that. But the company that does fence clip also offers a net clip, but I've also seen some on Amazon, so I would check there. But it's definitely out there for sure. Frank says, is an iPad or Android Samsung tablet better for the Multicam app at this point in time? I feel like I have better stream quality with the Samsung phone, and I'm looking to get into a tablet instead so I can see the overlays better. Absolutely, I really love using the Multicam app on tablets over phones. I think that's a great point, being able to see the graphics better and just have more viewing space on the tablet. Right now, I would say that the Android is better. The Samsung that I'm using is really great because it takes advantage of the entire tablet. If you've seen the iOS iPad version, it's not the complete native iPad yet, but it is something that we are adding in the future. So it's tricky to recommend, right? We've got the Android tablet is right now maybe the best option, but I also think that iOS is going to be great very, very soon. Okay, Sarah says, are there any special processes to ensure that audio is sent with the video via NDI or OBS, or should it already be together? So it will automatically be together in NDI, but you can also add an audio source using that NDI. So if you wanted to just capture that audio, you can do that as well by hitting the add audio source. Brad says, this morning I was streaming at church and the stream was pixelating and the stream would occasionally freeze. What should I look for as a solution? So usually if there's pixelation and freezing in your stream, it's usually issue with either your internet connection or your network speed. So it could be maybe you don't have enough range on your Wi-Fi network, but it also could be your internet speed is a little bit too low, so you could lower your resolution. But definitely do a speed test. Go over to speedtest.net or speedtest.com. Do a speed test and try lowering your resolution as well. Roman says, do people purchase a hotspot in order to get Wi-Fi anywhere? I'm concerned about sketchy Wi-Fi at convention centers. So this actually comes up a lot, and we have covered it a few times on the show, but I do recommend bringing along a hotspot, or even better, if you can get a full wireless home network setup and bring that with you using a portable battery, then you'll have even further range and stronger network connection. But yeah, a hotspot is also another good way to go. If you want to increase your chances of it being good, you could purchase a 5G hotspot. I know a lot of people get the 5G Netgear one, so look that up if you want. But yeah, it's definitely better than using guest Wi-Fi or convention center Wi-Fi. So definitely bring your own. Michael Harris says, can you rotate a portrait image? So no, you can't. Not at this time. We are looking into making multicam work horizontally or in landscape mode, but right now it's not available. Norman says, are you working on NDI output for the multicam app? So we have it on our coming soon section, and so it's definitely something that we're looking into adding. We'd like to add some sort of connection to the computer so you can switch and then maybe send it to OBS or something like that. But right now, it's not included, but you can stream to OBS via RTMP, so there is that option as well. All right, thank you so much for all of these questions. We can really kind of deep dive all of this stuff, which is great. All right, so I do want to show the last way to connect audio to the Multicam app, so let me do that real quick, and maybe this time not disconnect my audio. All right, so you can do Mevo mic as well, which I think is one of those things that many people don't know that you can do with the Multicam app. And it's just like USB audio and 3.5 millimeter audio. So here we go. I've got my iPad here. All right, so if I disconnect my USB camera from Multicam and then connect to it in the Mevo 2.0 app. Now it's important that obviously everything is on the same Wi-Fi. Go into audio, and then if I do edit inputs, there we go, I've got the Mevo mic app connected just like that, just like you normally would for the Mevo 2.0 app. So very easy, very simple. And then maybe disconnect my USB audio. There you go. So Mevo mic app, and then disconnect here. And then I will reconnect that camera here. This is why it's so important to name the cameras. I mean, obviously, a lot of people don't necessarily have this many Mevo cameras, but you never know. You never know. So there you go. Now I can just go over here and go to my USB audio. And so now I'm taking in audio from the Mevo mic app into the Multicam app. All right, so that is that. All right, let's jump into some questions here. Calvin says, I could not get the volume to work on one of my Mevos while in the Multicam app. So there's lots of reasons for that, possibly. It depends, obviously, if you're doing internal mics, external mics, Mevo mic, but I would definitely check your Mevo settings in the audio mixer of the Mevo 2.0 app. So thanks for that question. All right, guys. It's been busy. There's a lot going on. Okay, so that is all the ways that you can do audio with the Multicam app, and please definitely remember that we are going to be changing this audio section in the future so that you don't have to go back and forth between the two apps. But I did want to just show you that you can do all these different ways of bringing in audio into the Multicam app, even though we don't have the options really there and visible right now in the Multicam app. You can still do a lot of really cool creative things with different audio sources. All right, cool. Well, I do want to mention that we have shows all week long. We've got shows Tuesday all the way through Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On Tuesday, we've got Joe, and he's doing an AMA show, and he answers all of your questions all about Mevo. And then Wednesday, of course, we have the Multicam show, which is really nice to go over everything Multicam related. And then Thursday, we've got our show where it's Joe and I, and we're doing Mevo Live, where we're talking all about Mevo, answering questions, and able to kind of go deep dive into specific topics. And so that's really useful for us to kind of just show you everything by sharing our screens with you and everything like that. And then Friday we have Joseph's show, and Joseph does an audio show, and it's actually really, really useful. Especially, if you're doing multicam, if you're doing single cam, you always want that audio to be great. And Joseph goes over all of this stuff in great detail and really helps you set up your audio for your stream. And audio is just a huge part of the stream, so it's a really useful show. So check that out, Fridays at 2. We also have a very in-depth help section at help.mevo.com. We now have tons of multicam articles there as well. So if you have any questions at all, check that out. And if you can't find your answer there, then you can definitely open up a ticket with us, and we'd be happy to help you one-on-one. Looks like we've got a little bit more questions coming in, and then we will wrap it up. Jeff Young says, is it possible to have one device tablet per camera for the same production? No, not for multicam, not for this single stream. You would have to do either the Multicam app, which would be a single device, or you would have to have multiple devices using the Mevo 2.0 app, because you can only have one connection at a time for that. Marvelous Tembo says, can you do the countdown on Multicam? So not yet. It's definitely something that we want to add in the near future, but at this time we can't. That's why when you see the show starting, it looks like this versus doing a countdown like we do on our other shows. Fred says, is there a way to get more customizable with the streaming options for Multicam, i.e. custom bitrate, custom resolution, frame rate? So you can definitely do custom resolution. Well, not necessarily custom, but you can do one of the standard resolutions, whether it's 1920 by 1080, 1280 by 720, 480p, 360. There's also a 1080p high. And so all of these come with their own separate bit rates. So you can customize it like that, but in terms of being very sort of specific with your bit rate and resolution and frame rate, you can't. There's also no frame rate option yet. So that is everything Multicam related. Thank you everybody for joining me. Thank you for all the questions. We'll be live again tomorrow on Mevo Live, so join me and Joe tomorrow at 2 p.m. and then of course join me next week, Wednesday at 2, to go over more multicam stuff, and I'll do some more demos. I'm thinking about going on location somewhere, so put a comment in the Facebook group if you have a specific kind of location that you think would be a good idea. I was kind of thinking about a football or a soccer field, and get that going. And then I do want to answer this very last question before I sign off. Eric says, do you use one device to run 2.0 and a separate device to run multicam? You don't have to, but I do for the demo, because if you're using Multicam and you're live, you need to have the Multicam app open. So yeah, so for this demo and for practical uses, you do want to have 2 different devices, but you do not need 2 different devices as long as you're not live. All right, everybody. Thanks again for joining me. I will see you next week, and I will also see you tomorrow if you're joining us on our show there. All right. Bye.